Well, hello, Fairbanks Lutheran Church. My name is Lucas Peters. I go by Lou. I am from Lake Mills, Iowa, and I graduated from Wartburg College, which is a small school in Iowa, and very recently, graduated from Luther Seminary in this past May. A little about me. I think one of the more important things to talk about me is that I'm about to get married, and so I want to introduce my fiance. Her name is Kristen, and she'll introduce a little bit of herself, talk about herself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Kristen Wolf. I am Luke's fiance. I am a Disciples of Christ pastor. I've been ordained since 2017.
Yep.
April 30th of 2017. I pastored a small church down in Humiston, Iowa, and also I've been doing some interim ministry in Sheraton, Iowa, while I do a full-time residency at Unity Point Hospital. I've been there since August. I love chaplaincy, and I have really enjoyed that work. I specialize in trauma care, critical care, and addiction and recovery. So how much of myself did you want me to share?
Tell me a little bit about Disciples of Christ.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Disciples of Christ is a Protestant denomination. It was founded on American soil, one of the first denominations founded on American soil. We are non-creedal, and we have an open table that we preside at every week, and so we call all to communion every Sunday. That's one of our defining characteristics, I would say, for sure. It's part of the Barton Stone Campbell movement. So I looked at you to try and collect my thoughts. You're editing this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Don't worry. We have two dogs. We have a brindle boxer named Luna and a black lab named Nash. They are 4 and 3 years old.
Yes.
4 and 3 years old.
It's Luna Tuna Fish and Nashy Washy.
Sure.
But our dogs, I treat them like children because
they're our kids.
Yeah. Yep. They're pretty spoiled and they're awesome.
So we've had them for about 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3. Yeah, we're 3. It'll be 3 this August.
Yeah, it seems like a lot longer.
Yeah. But they are definitely a big part of our lives and our family, and so we're excited to bring them with us wherever they go, and they love adventure.
Yeah, they would love Fairbanks. So.
Yeah, we take them out on pack hikes a few times a month, and they get to socialize with other dogs and go hiking, and so I can't imagine how much fun they're gonna have getting to see that landscape. Luna's gonna need a bigger coat.
Yeah, she's short hair.
But we can manage that, I think.
Also, we met in Thailand. I was living in Thailand for about 2 years, and then Kristen came on over, and we are part of the same program, and we were teaching English. I was teaching English. Kristen was working with a college, a university there, and you were working with a peace.
Yeah, I worked, our churches had the same partner. So he was at the ELCA, I was at the Disciples, and we both worked for Global Ministries within our own denominations. And when we were both in Thailand, and our churches had the same partner. So we met when he was there for retreat, and I was there for orientation.
It was actually my last retreat I was going to, and it was her first one that she was going to.
Yeah. And it took place in the city that I ended up living in, which was 8 hours from the city that Lucas lived in. I worked at the Institute of Religion, Culture, and Peace at PIAP University. They worked on peace initiatives in Northwest Asia, along the border with Myanmar, Burma. So it was a part of PIAP University. And my work there was as a program facilitator. So I would help put together some of the lectures and special events and host them for the Peace Institute. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now shoot.
Bye. It was really nice to meet you.
I'm going to edit that out.
No.
So as I said, I'm from a small town called Lake Mills, Iowa. Population of about 1,700 people, almost exclusively a farming community. So I grew up out in the country. I have three siblings. I'm the oldest of four, and my mom is a doctor. She's a part of the Mayo Health System in a small clinic in Lake Mills. And then my dad is actually an ELCA pastor as well. He has been ordained now for 35 years, or it'll be 35 years, I think, this year. And he has been at the same church for almost 25 of those years. And yeah, so they're still up in Lake Mills, living in Lake Mills. And my siblings, I have a younger sister who is 27, and she is a banker and runs a credit union in Lake Mills, and just recently got married. And then I have another sister, Micah, who is a 5th and 6th grade reading teacher. And then my younger brother is finishing up PT school, so he's going to be a physical therapist here in about 2 years, it looks like. So, yeah, I went to high school in Lake Mills, played a lot of sports, was really involved with the church and I don't know if they still have it, the Luther League. But then after I graduated from high school, I went off to college, to Wartburg College. And it was in Wartburg College, which is a ELCA affiliated school, really small school in Iowa. But I actually had the opportunity to travel quite a bit when I was in college. And so I've been to a couple different countries. Out of country visit was to Guatemala. I went to Guatemala for a couple 2-week stints and was a translator at one point, and then also worked on building some construction projects for a school that my church was helping fund and was a part of down in Guatemala. Then also when I was in college, I went to South Africa for about 3 months and started teaching a little bit of English. And then I also had the opportunity to go to Tanzania for about 6 months, and I studied under and worked with a very pretty famous ELCA missionary, Pastor Herb Hofferman. He was actually a missionary in Tanzania for 52 years. And that's kind of where my passion for mission work really started to take off. And so following that, I graduated from college and then went to be a part of the YAGM program, the Young Adults in Global Mission. I served in Malaysia for almost a year, teaching English in a really small city. And following Malaysia, I actually came back home for a short stint, worked at a factory that was just in Lake Mills, and then went back overseas to Southeast Asia and lived in Thailand. And I spent about 3.5 years living in Thailand. I was an English and mathematics teacher for 8-year-olds at a Christian school. Like Kristen said, it was a joint operation between a couple different denominations and from different churches throughout the world. A lot of our members of our organization are actually from India. And so we had quite a mix of people, and I really loved the culture in Southeast Asia. I'm a huge Thai food fan. After Thailand, I moved back to the United States and Kristen and I moved to Southern Iowa. And when we were in Southern Iowa, Kristen had a congregation in a very small town. And I worked at a hog farm when I was there in Southern Iowa. We were there for about a year. And then following that, I started my internship. And I went off to Montana, to Bozeman, Montana. And I served a year at Hope Lutheran Church under Pastor Steve Schmidt. And I really enjoyed it. It was actually probably my first time actually working as one of the leaders or in a pastoral role in a church. I grew up my entire life living across the church and seeing my dad preach, but I never had the opportunity to do it myself. But this is where I really found my passion for some of the things that are a part of church and being a pastor. And it was a great opportunity for me. I loved Montana. I loved the Northwest. Which led me to put my name in for the Northwest region of the ELCA regions, and then got picked to go to Alaska, which we were incredibly excited for. Some of my interests going with my time in Bozeman and hopefully opportunities in Alaska. A huge outdoor person. I love backpacking. I was a backpack guide for a couple summers at Rainbow Lutheran Trail in Colorado. I love backpacking, picking up fishing again slowly, but trying to get back into that. And anything outdoors. I'm a big runner. I enjoy biking. And so, yeah, I enjoy the outdoors quite a bit. I'm also really into athletics. I train some martial arts in Muay Thai and I'm really passionate about that. I've also played many sports, huge baseball fan, and basketball and football for that matter. Actually, a big sumo wrestling fan. Kristen and I started watching sumo wrestling when we were in Thailand. I got her into it. And so we've been following sumo wrestling for about almost 3 years now. And we're pretty passionate about it. We watch it. They have about 6 tournaments a year, and we make sure that we watch it wherever we can and however we can. Really into traveling, obviously. I enjoy exploring and learning about other cultures and other people. I enjoy learning other languages. Not always the greatest at them, but I like learning them and sharing knowledge and sharing stories that way. Okay, that's getting edited. I'm really passionate about environmental justice and what the church and what the ELCA can do to be involved in our relationship with the earth and with the creation that God has given to us, and what we can do to welcome them into our ministries, into our congregations, into our lives, and our connection to creation itself. I think is a big part of our relationship with God, and I believe it's something that's important to explore. It's important to protect. And it's something that I enjoy having conversations about. Passionate about social justice. There's a lot going on in regards to social justice with the Black Lives Matter movement. So yeah, I think social justice is important for us as a church and as Christians to really know what Christ's role was during his life and who he stood next to and stood with during his life here on earth. Studies. I enjoy leading Bible studies. I enjoy learning in Bible studies. I love studying the Bible. I love asking questions. I love all the wonder and all of the great conversations that come with reading Scripture together. That's one of my greatest enjoyments from being in a pastoral role. I also believe that preaching is a great opportunity for me to really express my own faith, but also to explore and to teach. And to really listen to what the Spirit is telling us as a church and a congregation in regards to Scripture and the world and what that all means and going forward. I'm glad to meet you all. I'm glad for this opportunity. I hope that you are all doing well in Alaska and staying safe. I hope to hear from you all soon, if possible, and thank you so much for this opportunity.